If you're a Newcastle fan, they're missing Bruno. You know, when he's played, they've never lost a game. You can look at this as, you know, 3 draws on the spin or unbeaten in 17, which is still an incredible record. I think when you look at it, Dan, I think they've gone a little bit leggy and maybe one eye on the cup final in 2 weeks' time.
Really?
I think they've looked like this.
I think so.
Yeah, they've looked like this since after the World Cup, pretty much. Maybe with the odd exception. We've talked about it. Yeah. They've just looked. They haven't. It's not as if they've been terrible, as Don said. They're not getting beat, but that little bit of spark has gone out the game. Before the World Cup kicked off, I mean, that competition for Newcastle came about at a bad time. They were flying.
I think it goes back to before the World Cup, in actual fact. And you're right in that they were winning. Newcastle have only beat Leicester by more than a single goal dating back to mid-November. And that happened on 2 occasions. And now, while it's great to be picking up 2-1 wins and 1-0 wins, if that's all you're doing, eventually those become 1-1 draws. Newcastle haven't lost, but quite easily that could turn into a 2-1 loss. Just given how you know luck may have it, and that's the thing. Newcastle are not blowing teams, are not dominating teams the way that they had done before, and I just feel that that's catching up with them. Whether it's Almiron, who, albeit on the score sheet, but hasn't been doing so regularly enough. Wilson hasn't been doing so regularly enough. Isak is just coming back from injury himself and hasn't maybe found his full stride. Saint-Maximin hasn't had the impact that he once did. Put all those things together, and while defensively is still very strong, that lack of goals is putting a lot of pressure on your back four and keeper.
So what's it all mean? Let's take a look at how the top 10 looks after today. Newcastle then sitting 4th, 2 points clear of Spurs. Wow, it's interesting now. You wouldn't really bet on the top 3 not making Champions League, yeah? I think those 3 are fine.
I think it looks like it, yeah.
And then you're kind of scratching your head a little bit.
Brighton are looking good.
Bro, Brighton are looking good, and were robbed today as well. Another bad VAR decision when they should have got a goal against Crystal Palace. Let's take you through all the results then from today. As we mentioned, 1-1 between West Ham and Chelsea. Fulham with a 2-0 victory over Nottingham Forest. Willian with a great strike in that game, which opened the scoring. As we mentioned, Leicester with the win, Arsenal drawing. Crystal Palace won, Brighton won, but a massive VAR error in that game should see Brighton get the victory, but they drew the line on the wrong defender. Elsewhere, Wolves beat Southampton. Wolves were down to 10 men for much of the game, but things are really going badly for the Saints. They are sitting bottom of the table. No surprise if their manager gets sacked this week.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.